There's this clip circulating around the internet of the new Star Wars film director who's brand new. She's never directed a Star Wars film before, taking the helm of the future of the Star Wars franchise going into this next film that is supposedly a sequel to The Rise of Skywalker. We'll break down the whole timeline here in just a second, saying that it's her entire goal to basically inject fourth wave postmodern feminism into the Star Wars universe. Like, that's her entire perspective, her entire MO as a film director, period, full stop. That's what they're doing. So insane, bizarre, and this clip has gone incredibly viral all over social media today. These people have made it abundantly clear they are going to continue destroying your favorite movies, your favorite franchises, your favorite TV shows to try to insert some level of postmodern wokeism into everything in society. They've made that abundantly clear over the last several years, including with Star Wars itself. This isn't a new phenomenon, but it's like they just keep hitting a dead horse with a hammer over and over and over and over again to make sure you know the only way you are allowed to enjoy yourself in 2024 America and around the world is to buy into everything associated with the leftist agenda. So we're going to be reacting to this clip that's going super viral on the internet today. We're going to talk a little bit larger about the Star Wars franchise and the Star Wars universe and what I think Disney is fundamentally missing the mark on when it comes to trying to put a modern feminist spin in the 2020s on the Star Wars universe. And then we'll have some fun and rank the Star Wars movies in a tier list, because why not? We don't talk about Star Wars nearly enough. Her name is Sharmeen Obaid Chinoy, I think is how I'm saying it correctly. She's a Pakistani feminist activist, I guess, that they have now appointed to be the new director for the next installment of Star Wars movies. We're going to talk about that movie here in just a second that she is creating, but she was speaking at some women's empowerment conference, and this is what she had to say about her process of creating art.
What is the balance of activating a force for change, but also trying to permeate that patriarchy, that power structure? And is that a part of the calculation of your art?
Yes, because permeating the patriarchy and the power structure of men in Star Wars is 100% the most important question to be asking the new director of Star Wars.
Oh, absolutely. I like to make men uncomfortable. I enjoy making men uncomfortable.
I like to make men uncomfortable. I enjoy making men uncomfortable is her immediate answer to this question. Tell us about the process of dismantling the patriarchy and fighting the power struggles inside of the Star Wars universe when you're making art. I like to make men uncomfortable. That's her answer.
Not you, just not you.
Not the interviewer, not the interviewer. You're a man, but we don't want to make you uncomfortable. Just all the men who we want to spend money on our movie to go watch our movie.
Point taken. Point taken.
But, it is important to be able to look into the eyes of a man and say, I am here, and recognize that. And recognize that I am working to bring something that makes you uncomfortable, and it should make you uncomfortable.
So these movies should be making you, as a man, if you're watching this, uncomfortable. Star Wars should be making you uncomfortable as a source of entertainment for you. Because why?
Because you need to change your attitude. And it's only when you're uncomfortable, when you're shifty, when you have to have difficult conversations, that you will perhaps look at yourself in the mirror and not like the reflection. And then say, maybe there is something wrong with the way I think, or maybe there is something wrong with the way I am addressing this issue.
Maybe there's something wrong with the way that I think or the way that I view the world inherently because I am a man. That is the feeling that the new director of Star Wars wants you to walk away from the movie theater with. That you felt viscerally uncomfortable and shifty, I believe was the word that she used. I'm no film industry expert per se. I love movies. I watch more movies than like anybody that I know, but I will admit I'm not a film industry expert. But I believe, safely predict that if that is your goal going into making a movie, nobody is going to watch said movie. And they published this yesterday, so it is a very up-to-date interview. Specifically, this filmmaker, director woman says that it's high time we had a female to come forward to shape the galaxy far, far away. This is literally just such pandering to postmodern feminists. It drives me absolutely insane. Okay, so they write in Variety magazine yesterday that Rey, the character Rey, portrayed by Daisy Ridley, who's actually a phenomenal actress, and I think she, in that role, did a pretty good job. I think that role was improperly written, but that's just my opinion. The film makes her the first woman and the first person of color, because that's so important for the content of the film, to direct a Star Wars feature film. We're in 2024 now, and it's about time that we had a woman come forward to shape a story in a galaxy far, far away. Because we have to have a woman shape the story in a galaxy far, far away in order for it at all to be considered a good movie in any way, shape, or form in 2024. Life is just grand, isn't it? Don't just take the written article's word for it. This is CNN asking this new director about the new film. Watch this.
Also the first woman and the first person of color to direct a Star Wars film. It's set to be released in 2026. You can say that the Force is strong with this one.
Oh, that's so cringe. The Force is strong just because you're a woman and you're a woman of color, baby. Let's go.
Here's Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy.
You know, I'm very thrilled about the project because I think what we are about to create is something very special. And we're in 2024 now. And I think it's about time that we had a woman come forward to shape the story in a galaxy far, far away.
It feels so pandering and so fake and so like political talking points to try to get people's attention in any way, shape, or form. And I don't know how much more obvious they can get with this, because they've already proven that the more woke they go in the Star Wars lore in changing things moving forward, especially with some of the recent TV shows and all of that stuff, the worse it performs. Like, do we not remember the female of color character that we had in the Obi-Wan series and how unbelievably cringe all of that was? And it made literally no sense in the greater scheme of things when it came to the Star Wars universe lore that already existed and has existed for a very long period of time. The show did not do that well, and it had the capacity to. I thought the content was pretty interesting, but they had to focus on this like race struggle between the Inquisitors and Obi-Wan. It just felt so fake. Disney isn't realizing the further they go down this rabbit hole of pandering and identity politics and trying to embrace extreme leftism and postmodern feminism in the story of Star Wars, the worse it's going to get for how those films and TV shows are going to perform. Like, it feels like they're desperately clinging to get people's attention in some way, shape, or form, and just trying to get anybody to watch and be really obsessed with and excited about the new movies and TV shows, but they're doing it in a way that is harpooning themselves in the foot and just sinking the project before it's even actually taken off. They also just fundamentally don't understand what Star Wars is even about. So this clip is of George Lucas and Kathleen Kennedy sitting side by side in an interview, and she's trying to explain what Star Wars actually means and fundamentally misses the mark. So George has to come in and interrupt her. This is really good stuff.
Of aspirational ideas.
It's about good and evil in us, as well as our institutions. So, and the idea that some of us think we're really great people, but in the real world we're not.
So she's like trying to explain that Star Wars is about being aspirational. It's about aspirational ideas. And he's like, no, Star Wars is about good and evil, period, full stop. It is that simple.
We're terrible people who run your life in a very selfish way, and you think you're doing good when you're actually not. And at the same time, it's you know, how do democracies turn back into dictatorships?
Oh, boom, mic drop. Sorry, insane socialist leftists that want to take over Star Wars. It's actually about preventing dictatorships and socialist governments and too powerful authoritarianism from taking hold in your government. Fascinating.
Why do people who have the power to have the freedom, turn it over to somebody who's going to take it all away from them? It's happened through history forever and ever. And
she looks so viscerally uncomfortable. This face to me screams, oh wait, I'm not supposed to support dictatorships?
all Star Wars is a way of updating that idea to say, watch out, because there are people out there who don't play by the rules. And if you're not careful, you're going to lose all your freedom.
Oh, yes. Facts. There are people out there who don't play by the rules, and if you're not careful, you're going to lose your freedom. So, first and foremost, A New Hope, I would say, is a solid A movie. It is a great film. It changed the nature of cinema entirely, literally inspired countless other films, TV shows. Attack of the Clones, right? It's fine. I mean, it's good. It's not fantastic. I'm not obsessed with it in any way, shape, or form. I'd probably put it at C. Empire Strikes Back, S tier. I genuinely will die on this hill. Empire Strikes Back is maybe the greatest film ever created in film history. If any of you want to defend your position disagreeing with me on this in the chat, please feel free to do so. Everybody hates on the Ewoks, and I really liked them. I like Endor. I would live on Endor. I don't know if you guys would agree or disagree. I would put it in A, but I think you guys might say you'd put it in B. Revenge of the Sith. Okay, this might be a controversial one. I gotta put it in S. I do. I gotta put it in S. Revenge of the Sith is an amazing movie. Way better, far superior than anything else in the prequels or the sequels. It is not as good as Empire, but if you watch it as its own standalone movie, it is S tier. It is an S tier movie. This is not part of the trilogies, and I said I wasn't going to rank anything outside of the trilogies, but Rogue One was an amazing movie. I would put that in A tier. It was really, really, really good. For those of you who haven't seen it, it's not connected to a trilogy. It happens in between two trilogies, but it was very well done. And I wish they would take the energy from Rogue One and put it into all of the projects that they're working on now, but instead they're just making garbage, as we've already talked about. I'd put Force Awakens in a solid B tier. I will. It was good. And don't hate on me. Before we all saw episodes 8 and 9, before we knew the new trilogy, the sequel trilogy, was going to go in the crapper, we all liked episode 7, at least a little bit. Like, we tolerated it. Phantom Menace. I would put episode 1 as a solid B tier movie. The new trilogy, D tier. Other than Force Awakens. It's so wild to me that we have allowed the most beloved franchise of all time to be taken over by people who literally don't even know what the story is supposed to be about. I can absolutely promise you, if you continue going down that path while making this film, your film's gonna suck.